So what are we doing now is showing you how to make a sourdough bread. It's pretty easy once you know how to do it, and it takes a little bit of time, but the result's gonna blow you away and it's gonna be worth every minute. You also need a Dutch oven or something like this with a lid and oven proof. That's all you need. And then you get something like this. Has a nice crust, perfect, all the holes, and boy, it smells amazing. I'm sure you can't wait to make one of those. Well, if you're ready, I already have my apron on. Let's get started.
So for our first sourdough bread, we need a couple of ingredients. We need flour, warm water, salt, and of course our sourdough starter we have made in our previous video. Use warm water, not cold and not scorching hot. And yes, you can use water from your faucet if you're comfortable with it. Okay, in order to be correct with your measurements for your ingredients, it'd be good for you to use a digital kitchen scale, which can measure in grams. If you don't have one, I have a link in the description below. Okay, let's get to it. Put your scale on grams. So we're gonna do 230 grams or 230 milliliters of warm water. Then we need 400 grams of flour. And that can be all-purpose flour or bread flour, whatever you like. And then we're gonna do 5 grams of salt. And then we're gonna mix this, just a little bit. Take 160 grams of sourdough starter and put that in. I'll show you what it looks like. It looks really nice and bubbly. Oh, and don't forget to feed that sourdough starter at least 6 hours before you use it. You got to do this carefully because it sneaks up on you real quick. And that's basically it. All we have to do is mix it for about 5 minutes in the mixer. But you can certainly do this by hand as well. So the dough is still gonna be pretty sticky, and that's how it's supposed to be. Just refrain yourself from using too much flour. Even though the dough is a bit sticky, if you keep putting flour in, all it does, it absorbs it and it gets dense, and you don't want that. Use a scraper like this and fold it over. Knead it. Keep doing this for about a couple of minutes. Push it with your palm like this, fold it over and push it out. Just a little bit flour, not too much. You can see when the dough is ready. Take a piece of the dough and stretch it until you almost can see through. And if it drips like that, it's not ready. So continue to work it for, I would say, another 3 minutes or so. There's really no right or wrong. Then check it again. Pick a small piece, stretch it, and this time it does not rip. So that means it's ready. Put it back into a ball. Get a smaller bowl, dust it, and then put the ball in. Cover it with a clean kitchen towel and let it stand on a warm place for about 3.5 hours. That is what it looks like after 3.5 hours. It has doubled nicely. So now we flatten it like this and fold it over. And we will do this for about 10 times or so. Now we are going to tighten the dough. The way we do this is we put our hands underneath and scrape it toward us. Then turn it and scrape it again. See how the dough kind of rolls towards me? And no flour, otherwise the dough won't roll and tighten. Again, what you do is take your hands and you go underneath and kind of almost, smear it on the board. Once tight enough, it will hold its shape. Now get your proving basket, and if you don't have one, you can use a bowl and line it with parchment paper or a kitchen towel. Flour it good and put the bread top down into the basket. It gives a nice design on top of the bread. Again, cover with a kitchen towel and let stand at a warm place for another 3 hours. Preheat the oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit and also put the Dutch oven in as well, so it gets nice and hot. Once it's hot, we take it out and put the bread in. I'll show you how. So the Dutch oven is ready and hot. Let's put the bread on a parchment paper. So see here, if you push in here a little bit, the dough is ready when it bounces back. So let's just dump it on this parchment paper, hoping it comes out. Here we go. Can you see it has this nice design on top? Now we take the lamb and score the bread. The cutting or scoring of the bread controls the bread expansion. It prevents cracking and it gives the dough a helpful boost. Put the parchment paper with the dough in the Dutch oven, but careful so you don't burn yourself. And then close it with the lid. The Dutch oven acts like a steam oven for this bread. Put it in the oven for about 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, we take the lid off and bake it for another 10 minutes to give it a very nice crusty crust. So here's the finished bread. Doesn't it look amazing?